Being consistent in spiritual matters is quite important. That is why pagan Christianity is so dangerous, because pagan Christianity is one big inconsistency. And because of that, pagan Christianity can only provide extended relief by demonic aid, because it's demons hiding behind the name of Christ. That's what pagan Christianity is. Demons hiding behind the name of Christ. That's it. So if you are involved in pagan Christianity, you are involved in devil worship without being aware of it. And that's the dangerous part of it. But that's not the only thing that's dangerous about pagan Christianity. Another thing about pagan Christianity that's really disturbing is that in pagan Christianity, you are told to make yourself an available victim for the masses. They will not tell you it straight away like that, because then you would think, what? I need to become an available victim for the masses? So every time people are upset or they don't want to face things in life, I'm around so they can just unload their violence and their danger upon, and I need to perish, become sick, being violated and die before my time just because they want relief. If they would tell you this straight up, you would immediately think, hold on, I'm out of this crap. They don't tell you it like that. They suggest it onto you. And they use the Bible verse, do it. Turn the other cheek, love your enemies. All biblical stuff, but they put it out of context, causing you to think that it's your duty to become an available victim. And then there are those who offer a resistance against this from pagan Christianity, saying, no, you need to stand up for yourself, you need to become violent, sometimes violence is necessary. So in both cases, you're trapped in negativity. The real way out is operate in the power of the Holy Spirit. I've explained that before. Now, that's pagan Christianity. The reason I've spoke about pagan Christianity in the beginning of this video is because you need to understand the following. You cannot be too consistent with worldlings. You should be consistent with worldlings in general, but being too consistent with these people can get you killed, or it can get people around you killed, or it can bring you unnecessary warfare, unnecessary harm, unnecessary trauma. I'm telling you, let's reflect on what Christ said. What Christ said is something that was written also in the Old Testament. One's enemies will be from their own household. I made a whole video about that. I made various videos, even series about this subject. It comes down to the following. Worldlings are inconsistent by default. Pagans are also inconsistent, but the inconsistency of pagans is compensated by the charms they operate in. People outside of Christ, so those that are not renewed in their mind yet, they are inconsistent. They want all the good, but they don't want to be good themselves. Now, pagans want to be good on their terms, but their terms are a contradiction because they're not self-reliant. No human being is self-reliant. Nothing on the earth is self-reliant. The whole earth is one ecosystem in which everyone depends on each other functioning properly. So, this whole idea of self-reliance is a big hoax. That's all it is. It's a scam. There is no such thing as self-reliance. It does not exist. But that's what pagans believe in. But yet they hold on to patterns, but that's another thing. Just understand that anytime you are too consistent with worldly people, you're setting yourself up for harm. You want proof? Okay. I'll give you some evidence. One question. Most people that are murdered, who's their killer? A stranger or someone they know? Someone they know. And that someone they know is of someone they're sexually involved with or someone they have some other close bond with. Someone they have a sexual relationship with. So, sexual relationships amongst worldlings is a risk because sex partners of each other in the world end up killing each other often. Way too often. It is so often and so common amongst worldlings that they kill their sex partners that anytime anyone dies, the first suspect they look for is the sex partner, or the husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. That's the first thing they do. They don't go and look for the drug dealer, they don't go and look for the, how would I say, any other type of evildoer. The first one they look for is a sex partner. The police is not dumb, they know how worldlings are. Because worldlings live in this scam of self-reliance. They want control. But the big issue is self-reliance does not exist. The only one who is self-reliant is God himself. And they're not the Most High. So they want something that's impossible. They want something that's inconsistent with reality, that's inconsistent with their design. Can you be prosperous and at peace doing something against your design? Just asking you some questions. Can you go against your own design and still be healthy, sane, prosperous, and peaceful on the long term? You can't. So worldlings, by default, are self-destructive. So if you are inconsistent openly with worldlings, it will cause conflict, rightfully so. But being too consistent with worldlings all the time? Nah, don't do that. I'm telling you, believers, don't do that. Because worldlings self-sabotage themselves collectively. Even individual self-sabotages by persisting in unhealthy habits. That is too obvious. That's why worldlings join in groups. That's why people that smoke join other smokers. That's why people that are sex addicts, they join others who are also sex addicts. People that are addicted to heroin or other types of recreational drugs, they join in cliques with people who have the same addiction. Like attracts like in the world. People that are racist because they don't want to face the reprobation in their own group, but they want to blame all. They want to claim as if their group is completely pure. They'll look for others who are in the same denial. Worldlings join others to sabotage themselves. Someone will sabotage themselves too openly by cutting themselves or by being suicidal. Such individuals are stopped often and they're put in mental institutions and they are forced to look for help. Or if someone is drunking around drive all the time, that is a very direct way of self-sabotage, a way of self-sabotage that will also harm the community. By the way, every form of self-sabotage harms the community. Don't think, well, it just harms me, it's nobody else's business. Everything that affects you affects the community. So privacy and private life don't exist, okay? But I've explained that before in other videos. So also understand the following. If anyone persists in self-sabotage, they can only do so by joining a group that agrees with their self-sabotage, where they're managed. For example, drunkards go to a pub often. They may have their central pub, or in Dutch called the stamkroeg. They call it, there is the place where they always go to get their drinks. And there you have the bartender that tells them, okay, you had enough now. So their self-sabotage is tolerated, but it's managed. So worldlings sabotage themselves in groups where they're managed. That's what society is. Self-sabotage in groups managed. So it's a collective of self-saboteurs that manage each other through groups. That's what society is. So if society or the world is all about self-sabotage, that means that they don't have your best interest at heart. How can you have people who are dedicated to sabotage themselves? That means they operate against their own long-term well-being, long-term sanity, and long-term prosperity and long-term happiness. If you have such people who are dedicated to this course, so they're dedicated to ruin, but they don't want to literally experience the ruin directly. They want to delay the ruin by dumping the ruin on victims. And by doing that also are enabling predators amongst them. How can such people mean you well? They don't even mean themselves well. They don't even mean each other well, but they mean you well? Are you kidding me? So such people, if you are too consistent with them, you're too transparent with them, you're too honest with them, you're too open to them, you're finished. Some of you, the Most High, the Heavenly Father, brought trouble in your life. The Most High troubled you, not because the Most High is upset with you, not because He's punished you. It has nothing to do with sin, nor with judgment, anything like that. Or it has to do with judgment. The Most High wants you to see the type of self-saboteurs you have around you. Some of you are too invested in people that will bring you down easily. Some of you are involved with people that will call on the authorities on you, lie on you to get you in jail or to get you killed. Some of you are involved with people that will lie about you, pretending like you violated them just to get some gang member or some hitman or someone from the streets to come and take your life. And you may think, Rashid, no, my relatives wouldn't do that, my co-workers wouldn't do that, or just a random guy in my community wouldn't do that. What? Where have you been? Even 12-year-olds in this world, if they're realistic enough, they can see the type of self-sabotage goes on in society. For example, you have those pagan corporations that use Greek gods in their symbols. Now imagine this. You're in Sweden, a Scandinavian country. Okay? You should expect Scandinavian symbols and Scandinavian names. But now, you have this corporation that uses Greek symbols. It's not Greece. It's not even ancient Greece anymore. Or you have governments that use Greek symbology and think, well, this is not Greece. If Greece or Macedonia or Cyprus would use Greek symbols, you would say, okay, it's literally their national history. Oh, come on. For the United States to build their government buildings in a Greek style, putting the statue of Roman gods over there, I mean, that should open your eyes. That should open your eyes so you can say, hold on a minute. Why are our leaders who govern us act as if you are in ancient Greece, even though it's 2020 or whatever year it was? That should make you think, oh, hold on a minute, what's going on there? That should open your eyes already. But what do worldlings do? They say, well, it's none of our business, it's their corporation, they have a right to do whatever they want to do. They come up with excuses. It's a red flag. Look, if you are in Japan and they're using kanji, or they use Chinese characters, it's not China, but Chinese characters were dominant in ancient Japan. So it's part of Japanese culture. In Japanese, Chinese characters are called kanji. So if you see kanji there, and on the buildings, you say it should be like that because it's Japan. If you go to Korea and you see Chinese characters, even though Hangul is more common here, you can say it's justified, hey, due to their history. It's part of their national heritage. In China, you should see Chinese characters. But if you're in Cuba and you see buildings filled with Chinese characters, you would say, oh, what? Huh? This used to be a Spanish colony, right? And the people here are Spanish. Why do we have those Chinese characters all around? People immediately would wake up and think, whoa, hold on. This ain't right. But yet when it comes to the Greek gods, the devil worship, people suddenly are blind. You can't see it. But let me tell you, worldlings are not as blind as you think. They can see clearly there's an inconsistency, and it's their obligation to ask questions and to demand answers. But they don't. That is the agreement of society. Don't ask the important questions. Because once you ask important questions, the community has to answer. And because it's a community that enables their own self-sabotage, they cannot answer it because they will make a fool of themselves. And by making a fool of themselves, they will lose all their quote-unquote validation that they have. For example, if you have parents who are smoking all the time, yet they tell you to live a healthy lifestyle, and let's say you ask them about mom, dad, you tell them to live healthy, but you're smoking 40 cigarettes a day. Why are you destroying your own body but you tell me to live healthy? I mean, it's correct what you said, Dad. I understand it, but can you please explain why it's okay for you to ruin your own body? Well, you should be an example, both to me and to other people in the community. You should ask your parents that, and if you can't ask a question and they begin to violate you verbally or physically, then you know these people are out of their mind, they're dangerous to be around, you shouldn't trust them. No honor for them. And you should not resume any relationship with them unless they repent and they become better. What happens in the world? If a parent is out of line and the children ask the proper questions, instead of other adults realize from the other man, this doesn't add up, we need to deal with this, they tell children you should show some respect. You need to give validation to a self-destructive grown man or a self-destructive grown woman who has influence over you. That's not natural. If someone is self-destructive, they shouldn't have any influence over you. If someone is self-destructive, they should not claim any type of entitlement to have anything to say over you. Why? Because they're self-destructive. They need to face themselves. What happens now? When children see that their parents or the people around them are out of their mind and they point out this doesn't add up, children are violated. We use violence on them. We call it punishment, whether it's physical punishment or verbal punishment or emotional punishment. We do that just so that they shut up and we don't have to face ourselves. Unfortunately, many children grow up and they do the same stupid thing, but that's what the world is. And that's where all the codependency and addiction issues of the world comes from. Because we're not allowed to be real. When you're real and people act real, you will find solutions. But the world is not fond of solutions. They're not. So how can people who are not fond of solutions, who just want to dump, and they just want victims to dump and violate so that they don't have to face themselves, how can such people mean you well? They can't. Listen, some of you, God is protecting you by making things hard on you. Some of you, God is the one that made things hard on you. God is the one that brought the financial difficulty onto you. God is the one that was hindering you. God allowed you to think that it was Satan who was doing it. And by you thinking it was Satan, you developed in your faith. So God didn't inform you by saying, hey, it's me doing this. God allowed you to think it's Satan doing it so that you would develop. Now, sometimes it is Satan hindering you. Absolutely. But there are times it's God doing it. And why does God hinder you? God hinders you because God wants you to be delivered. And for you to be delivered, you have to see through the BS. And too many of you are invested in the BS. I'm telling you, believers, be consistent on an external level with the worldlings, but don't be too consistent that you hold on to values that they only use pragmatically. This thing called, let me say this, worldlings expect you to consider them. But here's the thing. When worldlings can get away with not considering you, they do it. Yet expect you to consider them all the time. It's right for you to consider other people. That's what you should do. But they should do the same to you. If you're too consistent by considering them all the time, even when they persistently don't consider you, you're putting yourself in harm's way. You shouldn't do that. That's why you have a lot of women who end up being murdered by their husbands because they were told by the pagan churches, God hates divorce. They take a scripture, put it out of context, and now they abuse people with it. So those women have been misinformed into thinking that if their husband is out of line, they need to stay because they said I do. Even though common sense would tell them to get out. So you have a lot of women, and a lot of women who are feminine, women who have a lot to offer, women who are good mothers, women who are forgiving, women who are of good quality. You have a lot of good quality women being murdered by reprobate, trashy men. Why? The women didn't brought it on themselves. They were told by society that it's their duty as a good woman to become the doormat of their husbands. That's what they've been told. And because they want to be consistent, and here's the thing, women are designed to be embraced by the community. So the women want to be consistent by giving in to what the community wants. So they're quite loyal and consistent with their community. And here's the thing, is the community consistent and loyal towards them? No. If the community was consistent and loyal towards those women, the community would realize, oh, your husband is hitting you? Even though you are complying with him? Okay, just hold on. Frank, why does Mary have all those blue spots on her skin? She fell from the stairs. Oh, no, Frank, don't call me that. You were beating on her. Are you drinking? Are you doing drugs? What's going on? Listen, Frank, next time you hear anything that she is wounded, you're in trouble. And we're going to make things very hard on you. So, what's going on? And if Frank would say, hey, this is my privacy, it's my life, it's my marriage, mind your own business, saying, no. You're in our community, you affect the community, so you have to answer to us. You understood? If the community was just as consistent to those women as those women were consistent to the community would stand up for those women and it would defend them. Really defend them. I'm not talking about when you have trashy women whoring around and now they're sexually assaulted, which I don't approve of, but they're sexually assaulted as a result of remaining in a bad situation, and now you have people expected to put their lives in danger to bail out those women from the same danger they involve themselves in. Because you also have women that involve themselves in danger, and when danger begins to harm them, now everyone else whom they pushed away has to jump into the danger at their own expense to rescue them, which is unjust. You shouldn't put yourself in danger persistently and expect people just jump in to rescue you. Yet you have women like that. But when men do that, jumping in danger at their own expense to bail out a trash woman, that's called heroic in the world. They praise that. That's not heroic at all. That's dumb. But those men also want to be consistent in the community. The community expects them to protect women at all costs. So those men, they don't want to become outcasts. So, based on what they've agreed on, they protect women at all costs. Which is not biblical, which even common sense would reveal onto you, don't do it. Because those type of men, you call them white knights, they jump into fights to rescue women, and after they have been beaten down by those trashy men, those white knights end up in the hospital or even die, and those same women that they've rescued continue with those same dangerous men. So you also have men who are quite consistent with their communities, but their communities are not consistent towards them. If the community would be consistent to those white knights who tell them, hey, listen, we expect you as a man to guard the women around you, but if you have a woman around you who's trashy, who's wicked, who spreads filth and violence, and she expects to be bailed out, then leave her in her filth. We're not going to blame you, we're not going to hold you accountable. And if she begins to play games on you, then we will make it hard on her. If they would be as committed to those men, as those men are committed to the community, they would defend those men. Does that happen? No. When a white knight does what's expected of him, guarding women at all costs, and he is wounded or he dies, if he's wounded, they would just look the other way, saying, well, he should have known better, now they're going to blame him. If not community pressure, put this pressure on him. Because if he would not protect women at all, if he would not defend women at all costs, he would be blamed also. So in either way, he would lose. If he jumps into a fight to rescue a woman at all costs, he's doomed afterwards because he's in danger. If he doesn't do it, people call him a coward. So he's put under an unnatural pressure, and when he does do what the community wants, and he's in danger, the community says, well, let him pray to God. Or if he dies, they would say, oh, he was such a good man. They will cry at his funeral, or they may even mourn for 2 days, and then they would go on in the same self-destruction. And that man, that white knight, is dead. He can't get his life back. He can't be active anymore. His dreams, his future is gone. And for what? And those women will end up being murdered by those bootlick husbands of theirs. They are bootlicks of Satan, who hates all women. What happens when those women die? Their potential, their femininity, which would benefit the community, is gone. For what? Listen, Am I saying you shouldn't be consistent and loyal to people? You should. But your allegiance should be to Christ. So all your loyalties, or all your loyalty and all the consistency must be Christ-centered. You can't serve two masters. You can't. So, believers, I've made this video for, it's already 25 minutes. I didn't intend to make it this long. I just want to inform you, don't be too consistent with worldly people. You will put yourself and those around you in unnecessary danger. These beings are self-destructive. These beings self-sabotage themselves collectively. That's what society is all about. Collective self-sabotage. The self-sabotage, if it's done by everyone their own way, you would have chaotic ruin and bloodshed all over the place, and nobody wants that. They just want to benefit from the relief they're craving. That's why they join in groups to sabotage themselves. I don't care which name a group carries, or I don't care which values they promote. At the end of the day, it's self-sabotage. So, don't be too consistent with worldly people. Don't. Agree with Christ.